There's being cautious, and then there's avoidant behavior. And when you have a mobility limitation due to a neurologic injury, one is essential to keep you out of the hospital and to keep your recovery progressing. And the other end of the spectrum will stop you dead in your tracks. And many of you have crossed that line from being cautious to avoidant behavior. And by the end of this video, if this is you, one, you're going to be able to identify it, know whether or not your behaviors are holding you back in your recovery, and if so, leave here with practical steps on how to unwind that tape a little bit to get your stroke recovery or your neurologic recovery back on track. If you're new to this channel, I'm Tara. I'm a neurologic physical therapist with over 20 years of experience helping people restore their mobility and their independence after a neurologic injury. And my mission for this channel is to provide all of you with as many tools as possible to make the best decisions for where you're at in the recovery process, and more importantly, give you the tools to make the best decisions to maximize your recovery after a neurologic injury. And all that said, in today's video, we're going to cover a very common topic, and that is avoidant behavior. And unfortunately, I really have to blame me and many other rehab clinicians with good intentions from teaching someone how to stay safe and crossing that line into pushing them towards behaviors that might be holding them back in their recovery. So let's first talk about being cautious after a neurologic injury. Why do we teach this so much when you're in the hospital, and for many of you when you're in outpatient? Because of falls, and we know how problematic a fall can be. I've talked about it on this channel several times, but the last thing you want to happen, especially in the first 6 months after you've had your neurologic injury, is fall. Why? A, it leads to fear and might limit your movement down the road and might push you into that avoidant behavior, which we're going to go over next. B, you end up with a broken bone. In many cases, that broken bone is going to be on your involved side. In many cases, they treat this non-surgically, meaning they just immobilize it. Having an immobilized arm that has been affected by a neurologic injury in the first 6 months is extremely suboptimal, because that is the window where your brain is the most ripe for learning. Even worse, ending up having to have a hip replacement or have some kind of surgery because you fracture your hip, also very limiting because you will be immobilized for a period of time during this very important window. And I could go on and on and on about the list of reasons why we teach safety first when you're in the hospital. So many of you are discharged from the hospital with a rental wheelchair. Even if maybe you were walking when you were in rehab, they will still send you home with a wheelchair to make sure there's a safe option if you're ever left alone. But what's a tendency to happen is people just use that wheelchair more and more and more and walk less and less and less because it's just convenient, it's easier, and you stop challenging your brain. Right? Because if you have two options and one has a small risk of falling, but more importantly, you have to think and concentrate a lot more, i.e. to stand and walk into the kitchen versus being able to just foot propel yourself into the kitchen in the wheelchair, as humans, we're probably going to choose the safer option. Not to mention the fact we put the fear of death in you that you could fall and end up back in the hospital. Okay, well, here's why all this matters. What we should be teaching is how to make good decisions. And that starts with awareness. And we do test this and we do kind of highlight it quite a bit when you're in inpatient rehab. Some people have no awareness of their deficits, and of course, we lean more on the cautious side, but some of you are fully aware that you have a weak leg. I know this because when you come in and you see me in person, even an outpatient, it's like, yeah, I know my leg buckles, occasionally, or my leg always feels like it's stuck to the ground or it gets caught on things and I have to be very careful. Those are signs that you have good self-awareness into your limitations. Some people have had strokes that limit their ability to have that self-awareness. And so in those cases, we would lean more cautiously. And so this video is not for you. This is for those of you that are in the bucket where you have the self-awareness, but maybe your therapist really pushed that fall scenario onto you a lot when you were in the hospital, and now you're extremely, extremely careful and you don't do anything that could potentially lead to a fall. And so what do? You opt for sitting, or for some of you, you get back in bed. Because there's just, what else are you going to do? You don't want to fall. You don't want to have to call a neighbor. You don't want to have to call the fire department. You don't have to call a paramedic. So it's just better just to sit. And what happens is your world gets very, very small. So what do you do instead? One, you recognize, are you someone that has good safety awareness? You have good awareness of your limitations, and you just choose to sit and lay down because you've crossed the line into being cautious, into avoidant behavior. And if so, are there ways that you could challenge yourself to push the boundaries a little bit, but within a safe kind of challenge zone? And absolutely, especially when it comes to walking and standing. I have tons of balance videos on this channel that give you several progressions. The one that I like the most is just having a wall behind you and really working on your balance with that wall behind you as kind of like a safety net, or having a couch, something big and sturdy behind you can also work. But then also pushing the boundary a little bit with your walking. So maybe using an assistive device and challenging yourself to maybe walk in a different room in your house that maybe you've been avoiding because there's obstacles in there. Maybe just testing that boundary a little bit within reason. Again, this video is not for those of you that don't have good safety awareness or do not have good awareness into your limitations, but you have to recognize when you are limiting yourself, when you avoid something because it's easier just to do it the safer way so that you don't have to think as much, and kind of pushing yourself into that zone a little bit every single day. And again, it has to be every single day because you need that repetition to rewire the brain to be able to perform those activities that are challenging or maybe slightly unsafe, to build your confidence up. But more importantly, as you perform that activity, your body is learning how to react appropriately to these new experiences. So, moral of the story, take home of this video is giving your brain novel experiences, new experiences. We know that this increases the chances of neuroplasticity, but more importantly, that when you give your brain those novel experiences, your brain learns how to adapt, and eventually you'll be able to push that envelope a little more and make sure that you're making consistent progress. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did and you're new to this channel and you haven't yet subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button. It really does help this channel out, and it helps to support the things that I'm doing on this channel. So I would really appreciate it. If you liked this video or it resonated with you, that also does help this channel out quite a bit. So before you leave, if you can hit that like button, I would really, really appreciate it. I enjoyed spending time with you all today, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.